Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Hidden Gems series. In this series we take a look at the sort of good potential young players or even older players that have pretty decent quality for like your Premier Leagues, maybe even Championship sort of abilities that won't cost too much. We'll have a look at the first one today. As you can see on screen already is Elias Machuca, I think it's pronounced. He's a 16-year-old Argentinian, plays for Racing Club. And bearing in mind, this guy is 16. He's a centre back. He's already 6 foot, which is pretty good. It's a bit light on the weight side, so his strength probably isn't the best. Although it is 11, so it's pretty decent. His physicals for a 16-year-old are pretty good. They're all above 10 at least, mostly other than balance. So they're all pretty good for his age, and they obviously can increase. His mentals are pretty decent as well. He's got some pretty good technical ability. He'd be very good ball player, which is quite a modern position for a centre back nowadays. So he's definitely one for the future. Not really capable, I think, at the moment, but he'll do a job for the low leagues, anyway. But you can get him quite cheap as well. Make an offer here. It's worth 180,000, and you can, yeah, if you want to take the 40% off the profit with a new offer, you could probably get him for under 2 million at least, which is a bargain. You can always spread the cost for a club that if you can't afford. Obviously, you can pay like 500,000 up front or whatever and stuff like that. So that's the first guy. Now this next guy is called Sebastiano Esposito. He's Italian, plays for Inter Milan, under 18s at the moment. Again, he's a very young kid, 16 years old, new to the game as far as I'm aware, and he's even better. He is incredible already. He's already valued at 1.6 million at the age of 16. And just looking at his stats alone, advanced forward, he is incredible. I personally play the pressing forward, which he's a little bit less better on, but very, very good physical. Strength is the lowest, but being 16, he can improve that. Very good work rate, teamwork off the ball is very good. Positioning is a little bit left to be desired, but overall 16 determination, 13 decision making already, 14 composure at 16 years old. Fantastic, really. Finishing at 13 as well. All around a pretty good player for that age. I'm not sure how much he costs because I've seen him like a few years into saves, but he does look like he's on a youth contract, so you could even get him on a free potentially. So that's probably the best thing. So we'll just keep that the same as for now and see what sort of wages he would want. Yeah, you could probably get him down to 10,000. Yeah, that's very cheap for a player of this ability. He's one of my favourites that I've come across so far. One of those sort of players that you always want to try and sign. And I think he's going to be a fantastic player, one worth keeping an eye on, definitely. The next guy is starting to become a well-known one in the world of Football Manager. Not quite sure how to pronounce his surname. I think it's Bruno Guimaraes. I'm not sure. We're going to go with that anyway. He's 21 years old. I've signed him a few times on a free transfer in a few years' time. He's just an all-round very good player at the moment. He's an actual centre mid and a defensive mid. Looking at his attribute analysis, he's just an all-round good player. Very good players. Physicals are incredible. Average of about 14, 13. Same with his mentals, and his technicals are very good as well. And he's already worth 12 mil though already, so he will cost more than the average players I've been showing, but still quite cheap. He's a very young player, very good player, and one of the rare sites that he's had no youth caps for Brazil, because a lot of Brazilians just seem to always have youth caps. But I think he's a fantastic player. He can't do it at the moment, but if you teach him, he can actually do the job at centre back as well. But he's very good. I'm not sure how he costs. As I said, I've got him in a free transfer a few times before. He has a release clause of 34 million, so but like for a decent Premier team, you could fork out that for him. I'm not sure if that's what he will cost. You could probably get him, yeah, for say about 25 million, maybe at a push. If you spread it out, you might be able to get him a little bit less. But I think for that, it's a bargain in nowadays financial state of football. About 30 mil tops for a player who's very, very good. His value, if you take him to a Prem team or something like that, will probably be worth more than that anyway, straight away. He's only on low wages as well, so don't think it'd cost a lot. It's probably about 40, 50 grand, I'd imagine, which is pretty good for the player of this ability. Another one is Augustin Almendra, another Argentinian, plays for Boca Juniors. He's another pretty well-known one, I think, by now. He's 19, he's been in the game a few years, and a few people have had him. I've bought him quite a lot myself, but never actually really played him because he's always been just behind the ability of my club. But he's a natural centre mid and a wide midfielder, which not many people play nowadays, to be fair, but he's still very good. He can be taught how to play centre attacking mid or even defensive mid if needed. Very good stats. His physicals are incredible. Agility is the worst thing, but he's got 14 natural fitness, which is pretty good. So you could even teach him to play down the wing just as agility. holds him back a little bit, but overall very good. His mentals are pretty good as well, averaging probably about 12 or 14, I'd say, something like that. Pretty good work rate, but all stuff like that can be increased. High determination, his flair, decisions, he's a very good technical player. Speaking of technicals, here we go. We've got 14 technique, 14 passing, 12 marking, pretty good. Decent long shots as well, very good first touch. And dribbling and even crossing is very good. I think he's only 19 years old, still a teenager. So he's got that going for him. He's only worth 1.9 million. I think he has a cheap release clause if I remember correctly though. Okay, it's 27 million, not as cheap as I thought. But you can get him cheap for about 5 mil without the 40%, I reckon. That's a steal because I'm pretty sure he is good enough to play pretty much for lower Prem teams, so he's pretty much already there. The next guy here is Davy Selk, or Selker, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. He's a German, 24-year-old, worth 7.5 mil, playing for Hertha Berlin. He is a striker, he can be retrained at the winger, potentially centre attacking mid. But he is a fantastic player, very, very, very good physicals already. He is in his mid-20s already, technically, so you wouldn't really class him as like a wonder kid as such, but he could jump into a lot of teams. I have signed him on a free, I think, on a season here and there already. So if you wait a few years, you might be able to get him on a free, but you can't always guarantee that. Very fast player, extremely fast, and he's pretty strong as well. Probably due to the fact he's 6'4", so he's a tall player, very commanding striker, but he's very fast as well. His natural fitness is incredible. His jumping reach is incredible. He's literally an all-round player. He is best apparently as a pressing forward, but a target man would be decent as well, even a complete forward. The same with his mentals, all fantastic. Work rate is really good. Determination really good. He's definitely what you want in your team. His personality is ambitious to match it as well. Very good on the ball. Decisions could be improved, but I think you could get that up a little bit. But it's not the end of the world. I think you'll be fine with that. His finishing's decent. You'd expect higher compared to the rest of his stats being a striker, but he'll do the job. He'll be fine. And his first touch isn't obviously that great, but that is something that can be improved in training as well. So I'm not sure how much he costs. We'll have a quick look now. So he has a release clause of only 16 million. That is really cheap. Really cheap. It's pretty much double his value, just over double his value. But you can get him for less than that as well. 14 mil at the moment. Probably can get him down. Let's try and get it down to 10 mil and see what they say. Gone down to 12. So you can get him for 12 mil. Absolute bargain. His wages are 26,000 at the moment, so he's probably going to want 50 or whatever, but so worth it. So worth it. I'm going to show you one last player in this episode. Another well-known name if you play a few seasons in the same save and Football Manager. Manor Solomon. He's the Israeli and plays for Shakhtar Donetsk. He's very good. He's still only 19. Worth 5 million though. He's a very good player. He's still got the decent ability. He still has potential. He's a natural winger. Can play on both sides. He can probably be retrained. He's accomplished as a centre attacking mid as well. It might just be me, but he does look a little bit nerfed this year overall. But he's still pretty good. You know, standard, really good physicals. Mentals are pretty good as well. We're averaging on about 13, I'd say. The most important ones are up there, and there's only a couple that are like less than 10. Decisions probably needs improving. Finishing could be better. Dribbling is very good. His first touch is very good as well. A few bits here and there can be improved, but they're not most important for his position. I'd imagine that he's going to play. So he'd be a very good winger, as you can see. It's just his passing and crossing, which isn't that great, which will probably hinder him. So I think he'd be better as an inside forward, probably. Although long shots they think would need to be improved, but you can cut inside obviously and not necessarily have a long shot. So I think he's a very good player. He's only on £6,500 a week. So if you put an offer in for him, he doesn't have a release clause, but I don't think it'll cost much. Yeah, 60 million. So take off the 40%, probably about 18 to 20 mil. Very good player with a bit of potential as well. But that is this episode for today, guys. I hope you liked it. If you have any more ideas for players, or if you disagree with some of the bargains I'll come across, feel free to let me know, and I'll see you next time. Bye.